Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another track guide video coming live from Interlagos in Brazil. This is going to be fun. This is one of my favorite all-time tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, and I can't wait to get some laps done around here. As always, guys, I am Splashy. Oh, Shane. Always have to change that up every time. Anyway, we're here again at Interlagos. Oh, well, not again, but we're here at Interlagos for the very first time, doing track guides and even possibly doing my first ever laps around here in this car. I don't think I've actually done laps around. Well, as you can see, I haven't done any time trial laps, but I don't think I've actually driven the track apart from like doing multiplayer and all that stuff. Most of these tracks, guys, as well. All right, so just before I go on any further, I just thought of something that when I do these types of videos, I don't give myself any warm up or any sort of test run just to give myself a sort of better lap or whatever. I don't do that. I go in extremely cold on the track and I just wing it as much as I possibly can. So just do keep that in mind, because yeah, it is a thing that I have been doing. And again, don't think that I'm doing test runs before I do the actual these types of videos. I'm not. I'm going in quite cold on each video, and yeah. But we'll get out of that. We're here live today from Brazil in Interlagos, Ayrton Senna's hometown, home city, home fucking country, and all that cool stuff. RIP Ayrton Senna. So we're here today again in the GR3. I better start saying that correctly. GR3 styled Ford Mustang race car. And again, as always, I'm on super softs. No, I'm not. I'm on just softs. On soft tires, doing some more track guidance videos and hot lap as well. Again, this is one of the circuits I have no idea what the name of the circuit, the name of any of the corners is, so please be in mind of that. I will just run through and say like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, but even that I'll probably even up getting confused once I sort of start hitting the sway, slowy section of the circuit. But less talking, more action. Here we go. We're here at Interlagos as getting a run out of the last corner. It seems to be a common theme at the moment too. Getting a run out of the last corner is very crucial for the start of your lap and will help optimize a very, very good run through a hot lap, as you want to just rub the inside left hand grassy area as we come down the main straight down, just roughly after the 100-meter board. That's where you want to start braking, as brake balance here is absolutely crucial, especially for turn 1. You do not want to overshoot turn 1 with -1 being front brake ballast, because you will understeer off the road. It is very, very crucial to know exactly where your brake marker is heading into turn 1 as we come out of turn whatever this is, as we head up the little tiny incline here into 4th gear, down into 3rd, take this nice double apex, ride it all the way out to the ripple strip, and then just slightly on the power and then down to 2nd gear. Now we go through this winding section of road here, up to 3rd now, and then back down to 2nd for this slow right-hander. I'm pretty sure this is the slowest corner on the circuit. Now this one is very fucking interesting sometimes. Sorry about the swearing, but I think that's probably the first time I swore in the whole series. That corner back there is absolutely brutal. Sometimes you can hit it full throttle, sometimes you can't. It just depends on your exit out of that slow right-hander, and it will determine whether or not you can take that corner at speed or not. As we come down the main straight now, across the start-finish line, as we go down now to 2nd gear, with a late turn in, on the power throttle now. This car will understeer you over the other side of the road, but don't stress too much because you do have a bit of exit over here, but don't use too much of it because there is grass just hanging, lurking just at the end of that ripple strip as we hit the cart path on the right hand side just after the 100-meter board. We headed up to 4th gear now, up the hill. Slight little incline in between the 150-meter board. There's a double apex, right-hander. Slow it down, nice and easy. Bit of understeer there, and some massive understeer here too. Second gear now. Back on the power, nice and early. And yeah, that's going to be very fun to try and get a very quick lap. Trying to full throttle around that corner. It's going to be very fun when that time comes. Not just yet. As we come out of the final corner now. Coming back down the main straight. Pit entry to your left there. As we glide it all the way out to the wall. Just in between the 150-meter board markers there. On the brakes. Nice and easy down the hill, up to 3rd now. Short shift there. As the car will understeer as well through that section. You've got to be very careful, especially if you're using cockpit view like what I am. The right hand side, the road runs out of room very quickly as we just take it a little bit wide there. We head back up the hill now. Down in the 3rd, going up the hill. Double apex corner. Down in the 2nd now. First of the slow corners. Massive understeer there and a little bit more through that section there as well. Very crucial to try and get a good lap around here, guys. As the game, see how the game, alright, so I mentioned this a few videos ago, I'm not sure which one it was, but it's very rare that I use first gear. So some of these turns will suggest using first gear. As you can see, I don't use first gear at all. I use second gear. That's the lowest gear that I'll use. Reason being is that the second gear gives you better traction, gets you on the power earlier, and won't wheel spin the wheels as much as what you would in first gear. Using first gear over revs the car and will possibly screw up your gear change for second gear, and it also loses your traction and will probably also lose time as well. So using first gear around here, please don't use it. If you guys have a wheel, I highly suggest using manual for this track, only for the simple fact that if you do use automatic, once you go past a certain speed, the car will go back to first gear, which is what you don't want to do, because then you're wheel spinning, you're losing traction, and you're losing time to your opposition if you're using first gear out of some of these corners. So I'll just demonstrate going up here. So we're just gonna go a little bit quick up here as we hit the double apex. As the game's now suggesting first gear, so I'll use first gear. Car's still revving high. So you have to be very, I don't know what would be the word for it. You have to be very cautious on your speed as well with first gear, because first gear, the engine braking works extremely well with first gear. So if you're excuse me, if you're ever coming up to a section where you are required to use first gear, if you're overshooting the corner and you've just outbraking yourself, using first gear is somewhat better, and it will slow the car down because of the engine braking. But do not use first gear halfway through a corner, because you will feel that even though that you're pushing the car, or you feel like you're pushing the car in first gear, it won't optimize your speed mid-corner and on exit, and especially on exit, because the car will over rev, obviously depending on your gear ratio. but 99% of the time it will do that. So using first gear is a big no-no. There are some circuits that do require you to use first gear, so what we'll try and do here is we will give first gear another go at pace. So as we come out of here, so we'll use first gear with pace and we'll see what the difference is when it comes to using second gear around these two corners. So as we come up now, first gear it is. So 74 kilometers an hour. I'm actually pushing this car. This is me not just doing it just to prove a point. This is me pushing the car. Using first gear also makes you feel like you're going slower because you're not getting on the power as quick as what you would be. So I probably lost a couple of tenths easy using first gear through there. Now on the next run we'll use second gear and just keep an eye on the speed comparison between the first gear speeds and the second gear speeds. There won't be much difference. There will be a slight difference, but it won't be much. But you will feel that in second gear that the car does feel like it's going quicker through the corners, and also it also will sort of give you the idea as well to not use first gear around there, only for the simple fact that you feel like you're going way too slow. And then once you feel like you're going slow, your first initial thought is to jump on the power, obviously. And then once you do that, that's when the car over revs and it's just a shit fight. So what we'll try and do here is we'll give a run using second gear. So we were 2.8 seconds coming out of the other corner. Well, let's see. I've actually made this a bit shitter for myself, but let's see if I can improve just by using second gear. So we come up the hill now. So 2.8 is what we're aiming for here. So second gear. You just go a little wide there, but so nearly the same. There was a couple of oversteering moments, but that's obviously just whatever. But I did keep an eye on the, that's probably why I went wide a couple of times, is I did keep an eye on the speed difference throughout the corners. So in first gear I was only hitting about 75 k's, where in second gear I was hitting about 84 roughly on average. So it does give you a bit of an advantage not using first gear when the game wants you to. Even using second gear sometimes doesn't necessarily help either. There are some corners in here that you don't necessarily need to use second gear. You can do it in first as we hit the grass on the inside. So it all just depends on muscle memory as well, on knowing and listening to what the car is doing and all that sort of stuff. I suggest for those of you who are struggling with gear changes is to give it a go in both gears. So you can probably hit third gear around this corner, but give it a go in both gears and see what you feel comfortable with. If you feel like the car is over revving in second gear when you're coming up to some of these like somewhat faster-ish corners, then go to third. You don't have to do it straight away, but on your next lap just try and comparison yourself on what you're actually how you're improving it as well. So we're gonna, at the end of this lap, guys, I think it's time for me to shut up and do a hot lap for you, because I guess you really want to see how quick we can go around here. This is going to be extremely fun, and that corner is going to be brutal as well. So here we go, guys. We're going to do the hot lap now. We're going to shut up and let you have a great view of Brazil at Interlagos. Enjoy the sights and sounds, especially the sounds around here. This car is going to be absolutely gorgeous around this track, but I do fear for the understeer. That is one thing. But guys, let's see what we can do at Interlagos. The 1:31.41, somewhat a very average lap there. Could have been a bit better, especially through here. We had a bit of an understeering moment, which was unfortunate. Which took us somewhat off the track just a little bit, but managed to gather it up and get back on the circuit very quickly. That pisses me off, that just before that corner there. So as I was explaining before with the second and third gear, so I hit second gear through there and noticed that on exit the car over revved very quickly to change into third gear. So preferably at speed you can do third gear through that fourth corner. I had to count how many corners there were just to know which corner I was talking about. So that was a bit of fun, very bit of fun. There were a couple of mishaps, but it is what it is, I guess. With a proper setup it could be a bit easier. You will find yourself understeering a lot through here with the default setup, but it is what it is. We're going to come up to the main straight now, and as in the last video we're going to do the start run, which can be fun if you're ever doing grid. If you're doing grid starts, getting I feel like a Formula 1 driver right now. Alright, now we gotta know which side we're on. Oh sure, we're on this side. So 21, 19, 17. So yeah, I incorporated this into the last video. Next one. It's 3, and here we go with the number 1 right here. A little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, and stop there. Alrighty, so here we go. Standard start at Brazil, Interlagos. So we are on the grippier side of the circuit, which helps a lot. So about 3/4 throttle. That was a lot better than what it was at Dragon Trial. As turn 1 would be absolutely hectic in racing conditions. So going wide at turn 1 will not be an issue. You will have someone on the inside at turn 1 at a grid start, that is. But guys, that is all. 10 laps, 10 solo laps around Interlagos in Brazil. 1:31.41 is what we got. We could possibly improve, but we're not going to worry about doing that today. As it's time for the celebrations. Many times on the grass there, but who cares? Tried to drift around the corner, but it wasn't going to work. Anyway, guys, that is going to be all for today at Interlagos in Brazil. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, it's always a pleasure doing these videos. And again, there's going to be a lot more content coming in the next couple of days and then within the next week or so. So please stick around for that. If you do want to see more, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and comment on a track that you guys want to see me do next. Whether it be maybe a backwards track, one that I've already done that requires me to go in the other direction, which could be very fun. Or maybe even at some stage when I do end up doing all these tracks at once, not at once, but when I end up doing all the circuits, maybe we could just turn around and go the opposite direction. That could be fun. Imagine Bathurst backwards, that'd be cool. So make sure you guys stick around for all that, and guys, yeah, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, make sure you comment on a track that you want to see, and guys, I will see you all in the next video.